Victory last time out in Montreal put us right back in the title fight. What better way to start turning the screw on Red Bull than with an away victory? Hello everyone, welcome back to ASGP, welcome back to F1 Manager. My name's Aaron and I'm managing Mercedes. We are about to dive into the Austrian Grand Prix. Not a sprint weekend this time around. All the sprint weekends are at venues that haven't, I believe, previously ever held a sprint race in this weird universe of Mercedes and Formula One. But we are ready to take on Red Bull on literally their home circuit. It's the Red Bull Ring. And like I said in the intro, an away fixture essentially. We won the last race in Canada. Lewis Hamilton getting his first win of the season. We haven't got any upgrades on the car yet, but there is stuff in manufacture. So a new chassis, extra underfloors, and a brand new suspension. Regarding design and research, I haven't got anything going at the moment. I believe the ATR period starts after this weekend, so I'll probably touch that before the Silverstone race and start thinking about where we're going to start deploying things a bit more with the car development. But we do need to be wary of the cost cap. We have gone quite hard on the old development side of things early doors this season. It is only round 10. There are 23 races to get through, so still a long way to go this season and a lot of money that could possibly be spent. I've just realised that George Russell's overall has gone up to 90. So that's good for him. He's really becoming a top-line driver in this save. And of course, he leads the way for us in the Drivers' Championship. He's level on points with Sergio Perez, but ahead thanks to his 2 race victories. Perez has nothing. Well, he has a sprint win, but no Grand Prix victories. Lewis Hamilton, a Grand Prix win, and he's moved ahead of Charles Leclerc now. And they're the last 2 drivers who are in triple digits for points. No one else is past the 100 mark. We are closing the gap on Red Bull, and we need to continue that today. And thankfully, we get 3 practice sessions to make sure the setup is as close to perfect as possible. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to go to the pit wall and get the car set up for practice. I'll see you in qualifying. So you join me in practice 1, and this here is Lewis Hamilton crashed at turn 10. Let's see what's happened. He's been chased by a Red Bull and just lost the rear end. So that's probably the gearbox, probably the engine gone. It's very smoky, and that doesn't look promising at all. Yeah, not fun for the mechanics. They're going to have to repair all of that, and that's probably a rear wing busted as well. So Hamilton's out of practice 1. This is right at the end of practice. He's still smoking away. Still not at qualifying because we're dealing with the aftermath of this crash for Lewis Hamilton. And look at the mess he's made of the car. Chassis missing, rear wing missing, suspension missing, engine, ERS, gearbox all ruined. So first of all, chassis problem here in that we only have one of the spec that he had, and it's on George Russell's car. We could switch to an older spec chassis for the weekend, or we could manufacture an emergency part, but it would cost $4.5 million to get 2. So sadly, Lewis is going to have to go back to an older spec chassis. We've got enough rear wings. Suspension, we've got enough of those. And he's going to have to start using his race engine. So we were going to have to take penalties anyway for power unit parts. That process has just been sort of kicked into motion for Lewis. In fact, he's got an older gearbox to use. He's going to have to use a brand new gearbox this weekend. What a mess. What an absolute mess. You're joining me in the final minute and a half of Q1. It's been a wet session so far, and now everyone's out on softs, and we have got traffic everywhere. Russell's been absolutely blocked there. Hopefully he can get round for a second lap, because we're only 12th and 13th at the moment. It's just not worked out. Every time we've gone to do our quickest laps, we've encountered traffic. Hamilton is in the clear. He's got an AlphaTauri just behind him, and he only leaps up to 11th, but he is doing a second flying lap. Will Russell get another one? He will. So I deliberately did 2 flying laps with no cooldown because I knew we wouldn't get the cooldown in there as well. Green sector for Hamilton. Russell on the bubble, but is improving. Russell now in the drop zone, so he needs a lap. Hamilton, I think, will be safe. Let's see Hamilton across the line. He goes 5th fastest. Here comes George Russell. He goes 4th. For that momentary delay, I had a small heart attack that he hadn't improved enough. He has, and we're through to Q2. So this has so far been very dramatic, and we're only at Q1. All right, easily into Q3, which saw the return of the rain shortly after we actually did our one and only lap on used soft tyres, I might add. Got us 4th and 5th. So we'll head straight into Q3. The rain has returned. How long is it here for? Let's have a look. It's here for... Basically, this is what happened in Q1. It was rain, 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 and then with about 2 or 3 minutes to go, it was dry, although the track is now currently showing as dry. I'm going to wait and see what the weather does. It's actually just going to get wetter. So I'm going to stay in the garage. I'll come to you when we go out, basically. My drivers are leaving the pit lane now with 3.5 minutes to go. We're going to do 2 back-to-back laps as we did in Q1, basically. So let's see. Hopefully we don't have much traffic. I think is that Alonso on a flying lap? He's on inters by the look of it. We can actually look at the Spaniard on track, and he is on intermediates on a dry track. What on earth? Kevin Magnussen's currently fastest. Let's just have a look at the tyres that everyone's on. Alonso is completely in the way of someone there. Russell's starting his lap. Alonso will need to come in and change tyres. He might just get around. Yeah, everyone else, Leclerc and Norris on out laps. I think everyone else is, well, Verstappen's on an in lap. That's not good for him. As Stroll now goes fastest, the track's just going to get better and better. We might be on an absolute winner here if we can find the pace. Russell is leading the way for us. What's his middle sector like? It's the fastest of anybody. Hamilton's gone a bit quicker though. Here comes George Russell then. What can he do with his first flying lap? Goes second fastest. Hamilton goes P1 with his older spec chassis, and they're carrying on. Russell with an improvement in the first sector. Hamilton not. And look at the order of the grid. Verstappen, championship leader, 7th, and I would guess is in the garage. Yeah, he's not on the track. Leclerc is on a flying lap, so he could deny us pole position. What's the intervals like? Hamilton faster again in the middle sector. Here comes George Russell. Then can he get on the front row? Leclerc's only gone 4th. Russell stays 3rd. Hamilton then has pole position. I would suggest Perez is coming into the pit lane. Is anyone else on a flying lap? No, it's done. We are 1st and 3rd. Hamilton backs up his Montreal win with pole position despite a heavy smash in practice, and he has an older spec chassis. So I think that was a Lewis Hamilton lap. What was the interval? The gap? It was 2.5 tenths. Russell a few hundredths off the front row, but that's fantastic for us in terms of our fight with Red Bull. They are 5th, and Verstappen is 9th. Alonso's 10th. When it has this late change to slicks, the AI doesn't really tend to get it right. But we have, and that's great. Pole position! Strategy set for the Austrian Grand Prix, although weirdly Hamilton doesn't have a starting position. he was on pole. If he's not on pole, I'm going to be furious. Russell, it says, is starting third, so Hamilton must be on pole. It's just a glitch by the game. Although it says down the bottom here, which you can't see because it's behind my head, starting position first for Hamilton. Strategy a little bit complex because we've only got one new set of mediums to use, so I would normally have gone soft, medium, medium. But I'm going to go soft, hard, medium because we can then go aggressive on the tyres if we need to. The softs will just babysit a little bit more. We've got, although strangely Hamilton is coming in on lap 20 and Russell is longing it out until about lap 23 there. But that's fine. We'll try and play that by ear. I reckon the AI will do some funky strategy options in terms of when they use certain tyres, like they did in Spain. So, yeah. This race was quite chaotic last year with safety cars. So maybe that will play into our favour this year. But we're starting at the front. So hopefully we can be leading 1 and 2 out of the first couple of corners. Let's find out. Let's do a motor race. Oh, look at that. A wonderful sight. A Mercedes on pole position. We've got 5 red lights in Austria. The lights are out. The race is on. It's a sluggish getaway for Hamilton. Immediately moves across the cover Stroll as Russell looks like he's coming charging through for a Mercedes first and second. And we're actually going to be wheel to wheel up the hill. I mean, this brings back memories, doesn't it? Mercedes at the front coming into turn 3 at Austria. Hamilton versus Russell again. Hamilton holds the lead for now. We can't use team orders. We're just going to have to let them scrap it out. But crucially, we are first and second, which means we can just go to neutral, I think, on the... Oh, we've got collisions. What's happened there? Was that Russell? Did he hit Hamilton? It is. It's Russell who's hit Hamilton. Oh, there's damage to the cars. Has Russell got front wing damage? This is not good. No damage. That's really bizarre. But what we have done is fallen behind Lance Stroll, who's right on Hamilton's tail now. That'll be because Hamilton isn't pushing with the ERS, which means Stroll is. Okay, let's see how... Incident under investigation. That's new. No penalties given. Interesting. Oh no! What's going on? It's all chaos, and I don't like it. And Perez is third. He's jumped ahead, and Stroll has got the lead. All right, fine. This is the nuttiest start to the race possible, I'd imagine. Let's start deploying energy. DRS will now be enabled. So hopefully we can start regaining some track position. Here comes Hamilton on the outside. And he goes into first position, and Russell has taken back third from Perez. So we'll just hang on to the battery for Russell and let Hamilton do his thing and get away. Can we build up that 1 second buffer? Haven't quite. So Stroll does have DRS on the pit straight. But he does have a wild George Russell to deal with. All the DRS zones, back to back to back, you will get a lot of benefit from having DRS. There goes Stroll, into the lead. What tyres is he on? He's on hards. They've all started on hards. This is far from ideal for us. So we probably need to get a wriggle on. Hamilton needs to push with the tyres, I would say. Deploy, and we'll get Russell to do the same. And then we'll see if we can stretch out a lead. Okay, so we've got ourselves first and second. Perez has just nipped past Stroll for third, but we have pulled out almost 2 seconds back to the Red Bull. I've asked Hamilton not to fight his teammate. Look at that for tyre wear. That's not good at all. So Hamilton, that's a problem. We're going to have to manage the hards and the mediums a lot more heavily than I wanted to. In fact, what I will get Russell to do, or in fact Hamilton to do, is go past his teammate, because he's going to be pitting first anyway. Our tyre wear has reached a point where our pace has significantly dropped off, and the rest of the field is coming to catch us. That first lap collision and the tyre damage it did is starting to bite. Verstappen is up to 5th. Russell's got much better tyres than Hamilton, and is right on his tail in 2nd place, but he can protect him, was just going to say, from Perez, but the Red Bull is about to come past and actually overtake both Mercedes. So wonderful stuff here for Mercedes. Red Bull are into the lead. Alright, Hamilton pits from the lead. Mercedes were actually 1-2 there, but now Russell is going to be under pressure. You have to box him early as well. Hamilton 2.9 second stop. Where's he going to pop out in all of this? Hopefully with some decent clear air. It looks all right actually. He's coming out ahead of Tsunoda and behind Sargent, so we should get some decent DRS speed boost, I would say. George Russell is going to fall a few laps short of his original pit window, and we'll bring him in on the next lap. Our strategy is very different to everybody else's. We're the first team to go on to new tyres. Verstappen and Perez are looking after theirs quite well. This is the group up here, the top 6 that we need to keep an eye on and what they do with tyres, especially when they go, what compound they go to next. For us, we need to make sure we've got good pace. So Hamilton's just done a 7.5, which is half a second slower than the race leader, but it's actually matching the Red Bulls. So I suppose that's all right. And as long as Russell is there, if we just don't have them fight for now, I think everything will be okay. It's just about getting us into that position. If we can get to a position where we're fighting over the win, they can fight. But for now, there's no need to do it. Perez has just pitted and he's gone to a set of mediums. So I think the AI is doing the same strategy as us, but just in a different order. They've gone hard, medium, soft, and I think Perez is going to be right in amongst it with us. He's right in between my drivers, and Hamilton's swerving across the road to try and find a way through. Can we find a way past the Haas or the Alpine here? Russell still on don't fight teammate. We need to try and pull to the side. Russell, we'll just take that off because he's backed out of it anyway. Can Russell find a way through? He's looking to the inside and not finding a way past. We need to put him on high aggression overtakes. Hamilton just behind the rolling roadblock that is the annoying Alpines. And we are trying to save fuel. Double overtake by Hamilton out of nowhere. Love that. And Russell is now right on the Alpines too. Let's watch this again. This was superb. The Alpines were looking at each other and Hamilton's like, thanks, I'll just have the apex. And a couple of positions. Don't mind if I do. Beautiful stuff. And we've managed to save fuel while we were there. Verstappen has just pitted and I think he's going to come out ahead of us. Annoyingly, Verstappen has come out ahead of us and is on mediums. So we've lost 3 seconds to Verstappen through all of that. And Russell is now attacking his teammate. And Perez is right behind. So we do need to get after the other Red Bull as Russell comes through. So Red Bull will undercut us, but we will be on mediums to finish. I think they'll be on softs unless they go to another set of mediums. So it's going to be an interesting final phase of the race, that's for certain. Let's see if we can catch up with Verstappen. More drama. Max Verstappen has had a lock-up and fallen behind us. He's trying to go past 2 cars at once there, and that's just not going to work. And the Dutchman finds himself in the gravel. He's since recovered, but we've also been passed by Perez, who's coming through on his mediums. Now he's got to try and pass Norris and Sainz, who are leading. And I wonder if they'll play the DRS game like they did in Singapore. Let's see. You know what? They might just be. Hamilton and Russell are fighting away. I'm going to ask them not to fight for now. So our tyre wear is actually alright. We can probably be aggressive on the tyres a bit more and start to close the gap to Perez. In fact, we've just picked up DRS, so this is all starting to work out a little bit better for us. We're right on the back of the Red Bull. And look at all the cars. Just cars everywhere. Hamilton down the outside of 2 cars. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And now Hamilton's in the lead. Now he's winning the race. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. He's just made 3 overtakes in 1 lap. Russell's suddenly stuck in 5th position. This is just... I don't know what to say. Just F1 manager. It's beautiful. Is that Stroll on softs? It is. So he could get in there and be a nuisance. Perez has now got through past Norris. Poor Lando. And I think Perez is trying to take the lead. So whoever's got DRS is going to end up taking the lead. Alright, so 31 laps remain. We have got ourselves ahead of Perez, but it's at the cost of Stroll suddenly disappearing off into the distance with his soft tyres, which are... No, they're doing alright. Lap time wise, he is 1.2 seconds faster. We've been managing our fuel and battery. We're now 2nd and 3rd as we overtake Perez. So we can start to up our pace a bit. I'm not worried about Stroll because I think we can catch him later. But yeah, we don't want to give him too much of a head start. Okay, so there's another driver who's entered the fray for what is currently the fight for 2nd. And that's Charles Leclerc, who's just roared through on a set of soft tyres. And Perez, Hamilton and Russell have not had an answer for him. We're still saving fuel. Our pit windows are open. So we will probably... I think we're able to make the tyres last a little bit longer. Stroll is now in for a set of mediums. So if we can get some kind of offset to the Canadian, then maybe we can chase him down. So this race is very open. Hamilton at his optimal pit stop lap. Is that a yellow flag that's going to cause a safety car? It's not. It was just Stroll running wide. He's cracking under the pressure. Verstappen is in, so he'll get an undercut on us with a set of softs. That's interesting. Will a set of softs go to the end from here? That suggests that they will. Russell has been off that stint and then add this one in for lap 52. I mean, if you go aggressive on them, they won't. So Verstappen's going to have to look after them. Let's stick with the mediums. All right, so Hamilton has come out behind all of his competitors, but does have fresher tyres. Those softs, they'll reach a point where they're no longer very good, and Stroll's mediums are used, to say the least. Russell is now into the pit lane, followed by Alonso. So Stroll is going to retake the lead. 2.6 second stop for Russell. Where's he going to pop out in all of this? It's going to be very close with Hamilton, who has dropped significantly back from the others. He's 2 seconds behind Perez, but they're on softs. They will come back to us, hopefully. If we finish this race 5th and 6th, having started 1st and 3rd, then that's on me. That's not very good management from me, is it? So let's see how this all unfolds. Hopefully we can start closing the gap. All right, Lance Stroll has just made another mistake and is now right in front of us. So George Russell moving ahead of Hamilton. We're going to get Hamilton to harvest some energy while he's got DRS, and he's going past Stroll. No, he's not. That's not ideal. We will get him to do exactly that though. We need to take off the drive in clean air though. So Russell can now hopefully, although we're not as fast, Perez is just on a 4.7. We're not as fast as the leaders. We've got 11 laps to go. And 5.8 seconds to make up to the leader. Hamilton now takes 5th position. And the Aston Martins can be left to squabble amongst themselves. Bad news for Hamilton. He's fallen behind Alonso, who's actually on a set of soft tyres to finish this race. So he's a problem right now. Tyres getting too hot is also a problem. But Russell is very close to joining the Red Bulls in their battle for second. Hamilton, we need to cool those tyres to start with. Or we can just go around the outside of Alonso, which becomes the inside. He doesn't quite make it. But Russell now right in with the Red Bulls. Charles Leclerc has emerged as the leader, the breakaway leader of this race for the moment. Tyre-wise, we're in a much better position and we're in 3rd position. So that's really good. Hamilton, please get past Alonso. And please do it now. DRS, please. And thank you. And peak confidence. Okay, let's leave him behind. Russell now up to 2nd as Hamilton goes past Alonso. I think we're going to get DRS off this back marker, which is an Alfa Romeo. So we might even be close enough to challenge Leclerc in a moment or two. What's Hamilton got in terms of catching this lot? He's still got Alonso on his tail, which is annoying. Russell just on that 1 second window bubble. If we attack with the tyres, I think we can get in there. Yeah, there we go. 9 tenths, 8 tenths, 3/4 of a second. So now what I'll get him to do is harvest energy. And also, just quickly, we'll conserve some fuel. And now, George Russell's right in the hunt for victory. He's leading the race. He's leading the race. But that's fine. We'll just let Leclerc have the lead and we'll take it right at the end. Let's watch this just in case we don't give up the lead. Classic move in Austria. Get the inside line for turn 3 and turn in at the right time. We need to set this up like we did in Bahrain. Remember that, Charles? How we stole the position on the last lap from you? I think we'll just set it up to do that again. In fact, Russell going around the outside to take the lead this time. Just because he wants to keep it different, I suppose. Hamilton edging himself back ahead of Alonso. We need to catch the Red Bulls, please. Yellow flag. A safety car now would not be helpful because we're not actually in 1st position. I don't care who's crashed. I want the lead of the race. And we've got the lead of the race. Is Hamilton catching? It's close. 3 laps to go. Can we get a double podium? That's the aim as Leclerc now takes the lead. It was Stroll and Hülkenberg. Stroll at one point was leading this race and has now seen his race collapse. Russell, on the other hand, has seen it come beautifully together. Tyre-wise, theirs have just gone past 50, well, they're approaching 40%, which means they're not very useful. Hamilton, I think, might be able to snatch a podium position here at the end. Russell needs to deal with Leclerc. That's how you deal with, well, he's got the traction, he's got the position, but we've got the tyres and the fuel and the energy. Hamilton now in DRS range, but we are approaching the beginning of the final lap. George Russell, we need you to take the lead and we need you to keep it. This is the bit. This is the moment. Sparks fly. Hamilton, I don't think we're going to get close enough with him. Just attack on the tyres. We might be able to snatch something. George Russell taking the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix on the final lap. Push with the fuel. Hamilton defends P5. We've had him on driving clean air this whole time. Russell has defended the lead. So crucially, George Russell is in the lead after all the DRS detection points. Hamilton isn't going to quite turn this pole position into anything really noteworthy. He's fallen back to P5. But George Russell, a fabulous performance. We've timed it perfectly. And we're going to get back-to-back victories for the second time this season. George Russell wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Get in! Hamilton right on the Red Bull tails as they finished 3rd and 4th. Let's just watch George across the line again. Tune up the band. Get the anthems ready. Because we've won the Austrian Grand Prix. It is an away win. It's not a huge amount of points gained on Red Bull, if any, really. But a win is a win, and importantly, Charles Leclerc is between us and the Red Bulls. George Russell wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Beautiful. Come on. 3 different teams on the podium. Perez finally no longer level on points with George Russell, who lifts the trophy above his head. Get the champers out. And the confetti as well. Victory for Mercedes, our 4th of the season, which means we've won exactly 40% of the races so far this year. Red Bull have won all the others. Our decision to go onto the mediums worked perfectly. Sadly, we couldn't get Hamilton through. He just lost too much ground. If we'd maybe pitted him a lap earlier, he may have been able to do it. But for George, it worked a treat, and it's worked to give him a clear second in the championship. His 3rd win of the season. Lewis Hamilton ended up just a 10th and a half behind Max Verstappen. So what does it do for the Drivers' Championship? Well, Russell takes a 13-point bite out of Max Verstappen's lead, and it's now a 26-point gap, which means it's absolutely game on as we head to Silverstone. And another Russell win, and they are well and truly locking horns. Leclerc edges back ahead of Hamilton with his podium. Perez now 10 points behind Russell. Sadly, I don't think Hamilton's in this title fight. We'll avoid using him to back up Russell's bid for as long as possible, as long as I think is fair. But at the moment, he's got to go on a bit of a winning streak, and we can do that by giving him the good card, but we've also got to make sure we help him convert pole into victory, which we didn't do today. Constructors wise, we outscore Red Bull by 8 points, so the gap is now so that would be 70. It's now 67 points at the top of the championship, which is that's definitely doable. So it's coming together. This championship is really starting to hot up. George Russell just 26 points behind Max Verstappen at the top of the championship. So it's absolutely, like I said, game on. And if you enjoyed that wild and wacky trip to Austria, make sure you're here for my home race, both my driver's home race and possibly your home race, the British Grand Prix. If you're not from Britain and you're watching this series, do let me know where you're from. I've seen a couple of people have commented that they're from other places. I can't remember. Someone might have been from Malta, if I believe correctly. But we've had lots of international interest in this series. But let me know where you're watching this from. And because, of course, Silverstone might not be your home race. But I will see you in Silverstone. Give the video a like, subscribe for more F1 Manager content. You're the best fans. I'll see you at Silverstone. It's bye for now.